Hello, I'm Andrea De Zordo and I'm the chief designer of HAAS Formula One team. Reflecting on the last season, the feeling about the performance of the VF-23, I think it was a relief. I mean, in HAAS, there is a lot of very experienced people, and I was sure that we can do a good car, but it was a completely new car and designed for a completely new set of rules, the big change of regulation in Formula One for a while. So it was really impossible to predict how good the car was in reality until we had compare with the other competitors. And so when we finally discovered that the car was quite fast, I must say that it was a very pleasure. And I think the first test was a difficult test for some reliability problem, but we had the feeling from the beginning that the car was a good car, was fast enough, and that we had the opportunity to enjoy watching the races that year. Having a good car, not that we had done a good car, is always a big boost for motivation and extra confidence for what we do. I clearly remember the week before the first Grand Prix last year, we really had the feeling that we had a good car and we had in our hands the possibility to do a very good result since the beginning. So in that week before the first race, we really put a lot of effort to analyze every single problem we are doing the winter testing and try to analyze each of them and find a solution for each of them, because we know we had a good opportunity in our hand and we didn't want to waste it. So it was really extra motivation for that. And we started the season that all the people have no credit in us, and deliver such a result the first race, I must admit it was really something special. Another strength of the VF-23 car, I think it was some choice that we did about the modularity of the some part. We know the change of regulation, so we designed that car really ready for the war, and this gave us the flexibility to change very quickly some of the detail of the car, even during the first test, and this one simplify our life a lot. I think without this flexibility, the first part of the year could have been done very tough for us. Something to improve for the VF-23 for sure was the weight. Is a common problem for all the competitors. Probably for us it was a bigger problem as we didn't have the possibility to add a lot of development and new parts during the season. So we didn't close this gap as other competitors did. Finish 8th and to have some more budget available for sure was a big benefit for development. For me, this extra budget is 100% for extra development, not only in making more part, but also to have the possibility to do more tests, speed up the process of understand something, some detail, and speed up all the process of development of the car. I think it's also some more responsibility, because more money doesn't mean that we want to waste money, but we have to deliver more valuable idea to the car. The design process of the VF-23 started end of April, beginning of May, is even later than what a new car normally start. But it was the VF-22 was so new that we really need some time to fully understand that car and to see a proper direction to follow. So the VF-23 process started with a deep analysis of all the points of the VF-23 and set a new target to reach. As it is an important phase, because you have to set the target where you will arrive. So it must be a very challenging target, but at the same time achievable. Following that, there is a more refined moment where you refine more precisely the target and put some specification for the different area in a way that you can achieve these targets. One of the best thing and the most difficult thing of my position is that I'm in the middle of a different area of the car. And of course, every area tend to push to the limit the development of that area. So the real challenge for me, the most difficult thing to do is filter all the requests that are coming from all the department and try to be focused in the global picture, in the final result, and collect and mix together what makes the faster car. The development of the car is part of the initial design, and we normally decide what is more likely that it will be developed during the season, and we design the car also thinking of that, thinking of the modularity of the different parts that will allow the development. The introduction of show and tell didn't let us know better what the other competitor was doing, but for sure help to make this process faster and also more fun, because since the beginning of Friday is clear for everyone, also journalists and fans, what the team will introduce, and then there is a lot more discussion everywhere and a lot more picture turning around in internet about it. I think Formula One is constant improving. So thinking of the target for this season, for me the target must be make another big step in terms of car performance, car quality, and car reliability, and as well in season development. We must do another step in that. And I think as a team, everyone will make a step in our own work. We can really have a good fun from the VF-23.
I'm Simone Resta, Technical Director of HAAS F1 team. Okay, so summarizing the evolution of performance during last year, I see that probably every team has been struggling a little bit in the beginning with the porpoising and the new characteristic for those cars that weren't easy to be captured, let's say, in development. And I guess we reacted from the beginning pretty well and quick. And so I think, after a not very easy 2022 was really a great comeback, as we said many times, and it gave a massive boost to everyone working on the car, both, let's say, at the factory and on the track, and this was very good. And I think we are building on that momentum for 23, trying to do another step for the group. The group, it was quite, I would say, probably quite a young group, formed end of 2020, beginning of 21st. So after 1 year working all together, I think is a nice opportunity to do another car together with I think a better rhythm and a better let's say collaborative work as a team. Say looking to last year and try to take lessons from last year, I think there are many lessons. I hope that we'll be able to address all of them. I think we've seen quite a good performance in some tracks with a bit more up and down depending on the condition. Especially we've seen some more difficulties in the low drag circuits, for example. So we try to cover for that. We have seen in the beginning, as said, the issues with the porpoising. We try to improve it, and in general we have seen many small and big issues like with reliability and quality, etc. So we try to collect all the feedback, try to list all of them, prioritize, and make sure that the new project will feature all improvement in all areas. Finishing 8th in 2022 season has been a very positive result for the team. I mean, of course, we all aim to always do better and finish better, but I think it was a very good step forward, and this will inevitably give some extra resource to the team, to the company. And of course, we are always trying to maximize the amount of money we can invest not spend but really invest in development to move forward and do another step. And that has been the aim, one of the aims with the new project, to be able to have a stronger in-season development program, one of the lessons we learned from this year. So yeah, that's the objective, and we look forward to that. The VF-23, the new 2023 car concept work has started approximately after the first races of the 22 car. Basically, as soon as we put the car on the track, we learned about it, etc. Then we started to work on the new model. Initially, the work is a bit less intense, with some aerodynamic development, some initial concept work, and then week after week, month after month, is a progressive increase of resources, a progressive probably shift one project to the other, up to a point that when you arrive at the shutdown time, is kind of the vast majority of the resources are on the new car. So there is this transition period that is going more or less from the first race to the shutdown, where the resources are moving one project to the other, and then after that, then is a matter of start to release the big models in production, the chassis, and then all the other parts, etc. And that is again another transition between, let's say, shutdown and say Christmas time, where the majority of the components are released in production. Now we are into the next phase, so we are just at the start of the car build. The car is homologated, and in a few weeks' time we'll proceed with all the steps of assembling the car before we start with the chassis and the fuel system, and then step by step we start to add the blocks like the suspension, and then the radiator duct, the radiators, all the cooling system, etc. And building the chassis and onto a vehicle. And we are planning to fire up the car beginning of February, and being ready, let's say, for a mid-February filming day, let's say, promotional event on the track. Well, looking after all the main areas of intervention from 22 to 23, I say that probably we try to save a few of the components on the 22 car, but try to redo everything, to improve the aerodynamic performance on the car, redo to improve the weight of the component, and redo to improve the quality of the component, and improve also the reliability, all based on the lesson from the previous model. So there has been a massive rework of all the car. Some of the components, they don't look radically different. I would say this is probably more a development of the 22 car, but is a complete rework of all the car, is a complete development involving many components. It's always very difficult to predict what happens into the next season in terms of competitiveness ranking and gap, let's say, from the first cars to the last cars on the grid. Considering a good stability in terms of regulation, and considering how last year the outcome of last year, I probably think that we might see a closure in terms of grid and gaps, let's say, from the first cars to the last cars. But let's see in 2 months' time. Middle of this year, the FIA, especially after Baku, has decided to start a program trying to improve the safety of the cars with some short-term and medium-term actions. Of course, the short-term were reflected already in the season 22, while the medium-term action will materialize, let's say, onto the new car. As mentioned, the floor will be modified. It's going to be the biggest change for 23 car in terms of regulation. It is aimed to improve purposing. I suppose it will cost to everyone a little bit of performance, but I think every team after the start of the 22 season have learned so much that I believe everyone will be in a much better place next year in terms of purposing characteristic of the new cars. Speaking about upgrades, I say that probably is one of the most fashionable arguments, let's say, in F1, and I'll not remove any surprise to everyone, and for sure we'll have a stronger program of upgrade if compared to last year. We are still working on it. We are in the very beginning. We have just defined the launch car, so the guys have already started to work on it, but we were in the very beginning. We got our roadmap, but of course it's very early to say exactly what we'll do and when. Well, last year pole position was a great joy for everyone in the team. It was the first pole position ever for the team. For me, our objective is always to maximize our performance in every condition, on every track, in every condition, with both drivers, and that's the objective. Then how that will materialize into a final result, I'm not sure. It would be great to see a podium or a race win. We always have to aim high, and let's see what we can get in 23.
So my name is Matteo Piraccini. I'm the head of chassis engineering, which means that I'm leading the design office of Haas F1 team. 2022 season. It looks like a very long time ago, but it is mainly just 1 year ago. A bit of background, thinking about the fact that it was a really important challenge considering a new age of car, thinking about the fact that all the people were there at the beginning of the season, putting together a car never used before. I would say that it was a surprise for me, or should we say a final confirmation for me that F1 world is a really high level, in terms of technological point of view, a high level world. It looks to me that at the end of the day, 20 cars never run before, based on different technology, based on different, know-how of different people, logistically around the world, were on grid at the same time, performing with a very small amount of difference in terms of time lap. So we are talking about few tenths, considering 20 cars never run before. So thinking about us F1 team, what I would say, I don't want to talk about a surprise because we are racer. We worked to be there at the right time, performing well from the beginning. And we confirmed that already in Bahrain test and already during the first race, we were performing well as we were expecting. So instead to talk about a surprise, I would like just to say that I'm proud to have been part of a team like this, the smallest team in F1, and to be there at the right time with the right level of performance. Learning process, I would say that at the end of the day, also 2022 season has confirmed what we know, that everything in Formula 1, everything is time. You can have the best idea in the world in terms of performance, to get performance and the reliability of the car. But if you are not capable to put it on the grid in the shortest time, you will pay performance, you will pay results. So even 2022 season was confirming that having a good idea, we had to push like hell to get the right part of the car on time on the grid before the competitors. And this is what we did. This is what we learned again, and this is what we are planning to do, improving time response for our ideas in terms of development on the grid. Yeah, I will say that finishing P8 in 2022 season could mean more prize, more money, but for me means a lot more pressure, should we say, because we are planning it to be even better next year. More pressure means that what we are planning is to invest in our people. What I mean is that never forget that the key to get performance, even in F1, is to invest in people. People can make the difference. So even in the design staff, and not only talking about the design area, but even in the team, we are pushing to get the right people and to improve, should we say, the learning process, the level of the know-how of each people, because what a junior guy could have done last year will be even better next year, and we have to find out the right people for the right position at the right moment. In terms of timing, as I said, time is everything in F1. So in front of a question, when did you start in 2022 to think about the 2023 car development? The day after we finished the car build of 2022. That is almost happening every year, because to get together new ideas and especially to plan them properly in terms of development makes the difference for the season after. So in terms of ideas, in terms of planning, we started just the day after, and everything was put together even during the mid-season of last year. Crash test is absolutely important. Even also if you consider that last year when we started the new age, should we say, of the 2022 car, we have faced, should we say, an extra challenge. A hard challenge to meet the requirement of FIA, which have changed drastically from the previous year. So Crash test is one of the most important appointments during the development of the chassis area. But do not forget that also when we are talking about chassis, we are talking about the rest of the car. So chassis is just one step, the first step, and around the car, talking about, aero upgrade, talking about cooling system, talking about suspension. Everything has been planned in order to develop the car as per performance target. Chassis homologation is the first step of a long, should we say, story. So it's just the first, should we say, goal on a match that is planned for the full year. So after chassis homologation, it is planned a time for car build. We are all focused on the first, should we say, lap on the grid during the first test and on the first race. And I would add that after the first race, or even during the first race, we are starting already to get in advance a vision of this, should we say, in-season development and the next year car concept. Chassis homologation is a nervous time, but I do not have any different time during the year. I'm a racer, so what I mean is that it is the homologation is part of the game, but I would add also the same level of, should we say, pressure during car build, during the first lap on the grid, during even the first lap on track of the new car, during the first race, and each race is a, should we say, a motivation of high level of pressure, but it is a good pressure. We are all passionate, we are all motivated, and we are all focused in finding out, results in terms of performance. During pre-season testing, what we are focused in especially final confirmation that the design done during winter time has achieved the major goal, not only in terms of performance, but also even in terms of reliability. This is the reason why we are planning a very, should we say, important timing in checking the car during car build. Thinking about car build, we could plan, the first build in 1 week, in a few days, waiting for the last bit delivered at the last time, but we are planning a very long, should we say, time. I'm talking about a few weeks, in order to deeply investigate all single item which we have designed, which finally has been manufactured and delivered, because the devil is in the detail, and everything could be improved during either this time between car build and the first race, and everything could generate a good step in performance. As I said, the devil in the details.